Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube tutorial video. Today's video we're going to be covering TvZ 3cc standard. Also, stay tuned to the end for a special announcement. Alright, let's get on to the builder portion of the video. So this build, as mentioned, is TvZ 3cc standard. It is a bio build, and while it's very similar to the last month's TvZ build, it's a bit harder in my opinion because you have more pieces to manage. You have to do things really quickly with this build, but you should see a lot of success with it. I copied this originally from Innovation. I'll link the series down below. So this build starts off 16 racks, 16 gas. Let's hide this and get the production tab going. So this build, something I like about it is it's also a Banshee build. So it's really safe. And I'll say this about Banshees. If you're a lower level player, don't worry about microing your Banshees and trying to get damage done with them. This build, if you do it correctly, even just the macro section, you're going to have such a big power spike at 2-2 that the main thing you need to worry about is just not dying to something like roaches, okay? So only micro the Banshees if you feel like you have the APM to also macro behind that level of micro. So then Reaper Orbital. Ice Scout off of the racks. It's not a required thing to do in TvZ. You can not scout in TvZ. I personally struggle if I don't scout though. I've tried the no SCV scout and would just die to things that I think I would have easily held if I just had a little bit more heads up. So it's personal preference, I guess.
Command center upgrade complete.
After the Reaper, start up a Marine. And then sometimes you can pull an SCV off the mineral line as soon as the Reaper pops, and other times you can just rally the SCV out of the orbital to get that perfectly timed factory. Kind of just depends on how far the factory needs to be from the command center. Anyways, after that Marine, get a reactor. And don't take your gas. Also, something I do is if I SCV scout, I send that SCV to go mine from the natural when it returns home. And that's because when I reach 16 out of 16, I'll have the perfect amount, like right now, to send this SCV out with just enough minerals to build that third command sensor. Start up that orbital. And you're just basically waiting for 100 gas to start up that starport.
Complete.
So starport is like ever so slightly delayed from what it might normally be if we went to gas. And then before you start your Hellions, you do need to take a gas geyser at the natural preferably because it works easier with rallying. And that's because we are going to go Banshee. So you do delay your Hellions a little bit longer than you might like, but it's okay. It's only like a 15-second delay. Get the tech lab as soon as you've got your Hellions going. And don't build any depots till 51 supply from here on out. Populate that gas geyser. Start up more Hellions. With this build, we're only going to go 6 Hellions. I just think it works a little bit better if you're going to do the full macro version than to go 8 Hellion. Just, I don't know. It's just how the build works. Okay, start up Banshees and Cloak. As soon as you can afford it. You'll notice you'll get Cloak roughly around the time that your command center finishes. More Hellions. And keep the 3rd and 4th Hellion at home. It's just way too risky with 3cc to move out with them. So around 52, 51 supply, get your depot. Keep that production constant. Oh, also after Cloak, you do want a tech lab to be started. And around 4:30, very similar to the old Hellion lib timing, you're going to get your next set of barracks. Start up one more Banshee. And I would keep this Banshee at home. The factory is then going to lift off and build another reactor. As soon as we can afford it, we're going to get our next set of eBays and 2 more gases. Start up stim as soon as you can. And from here on out, you probably want to start making 2 depots at a time. Otherwise, I found I got supply blocked if I didn't do that. And I think I still even get a supply block, even though I felt like the depot production was fairly consistent. Around 5 minutes. That's your time to go land your 3rd base. So after that Banshee's finished, land the factory on that tech lab. Have the starport lift off. It's going to build its own reactor, and the barracks will land on the other reactor that was made. I know it's some complicated add-on swapping, but just it's pretty efficient, so just try to do it. Start up your 1-1, and as soon as your first 2 barracks are finished, barracks 2 and 3, you're going to start up barracks 4 and 5 with the same SCVs that built the 2nd and 3rd barracks. So I would go out with your Hellions once you have a full wall up at your natural. I think otherwise it's way too risky. And then you can just start rallying to the depot. And the next set of timings we're aiming for here is we want to leave between 6:45 and 7 minutes with 2 medevacs full of bio. And they're just there to go clear creep. There's not really like a big 1-1 timing because our 2-2 timing is going to be the main thing we're aiming for with a build like this. The cool thing about this 2-2 timing is it is faster than the normal 2 gas openers in TvT or in TvZ by about 30 seconds. So it's a pretty big power spike if you hit it correctly. Get those reactors. When your 1-1 is halfway finished, that's the time to get your armory. Sorry I didn't mention it sooner. Start up your combat shields as well. And I think the next thing we want to do is get a 2nd factory. Yeah, so around 7 minutes is when your first drop can leave. And this whole time you just need the constant 2 depot production or you'll risk getting supply blocked. Like never send those 2 guys back to mine. They just always need to be there to try and get the supply from keeping a supply block. Because if you notice, we'll get 150 supply really fast. It's like 15 seconds before 8 minutes. It's pretty nice with this build. Okay, so 2nd factory. Start up your 2-2. Then get your 4th base around 7:30. As soon as these next set of medevacs pop, go for another drop. And then immediately after this, after your 4th base gets going, that's when you want to take your 8 racks, okay? So go up to a total of 8 barracks. And I would go push the other side of the map that you haven't been pushing, but the primary thing you should focus on is just clearing the path where you are going to push. You don't always need to worry about the middle, it's the path you plan to take that needs to be clear of creep. So yes, we do have a 3 racks going, and you'll want to get all tech labs on them. I know in some of my 8 racks videos, I didn't get add-ons on that last 6th, 7th, and 8th barracks, but this time we do want it because we want to make a full macro transition.
Mineral field depleted.
At this time, you want to go land your 4th base, and as you can see, we're almost maxed. It's almost 9 minutes. Our 2-2 is going to finish really soon. I mean, if it wasn't for this attack, I would have maxed out by 9 minutes exactly. So, pretty powerful stuff with this build, especially if you don't lose your units. And I think this is a fantastic standard build right now, especially in today's meta. 3cc is just, I think it's just better. I don't know, I don't like 2 gas for bio as much. That's a personal preference though. I think the 3cc 1 gas is kind of the way to go, and it's pretty safe too. I think versus pull first is where you have to be careful. Okay, so we should leave at 9 minutes, get there by 9:30. I was a bit delayed because of the Zerg attacked.
Upgrade.
And behind this, transition-wise, I'm not completely 100% on. This is what I'm doing though. I get another factory, and you'll get a reactor on it to pump out mines. So you'll have 2 tanks and 2 mines producing at a time, or you know, any other variation that you want. Start up your 3-3. And get a Ghost Academy and possibly another starport. I think Ghosts, Biomine Tank is pretty necessary versus Lurkers. I don't know how good Liberators are right now. In my opinion, they're not that great. But I think the 3 factory stuff is pretty good. You could also choose to go attack instead of armor like I did. Again, that's a personal preference. And I think that's pretty much everything. Get Cloak on the Ghost Academy, a Reactor, and start up Drilling Claws as well as Concussive Shells. And hopefully you do game-winning damage with this push, but if you don't, then you're obviously just gearing up for the late game. Get your sensor towers, get tons of CCs. But like I said, hopefully your objective is to be so clean with the first 9 minutes that when you get there at 9:30, you just kind of roll over them. So yeah, that's pretty much the build, guys. Thank you for coming. And now for the special announcement that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. You may or may not already know, but I offer free coaching to players Diamond and below. All you need to do is join my Discord server and fill out the form to sign up for it. And I will coach you live on my Twitch channel. If you are interested, though, in having that coaching VOD put on YouTube, all I ask is that you subscribe to my Twitch channel, and I will be happy to upload that video to YouTube of our coaching together. And I'll do that for my subscribers once a month. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and peace.